Yo, what's up, guys? Kiko here. Welcome back to a brand new video. And today, um, it's gonna be a quick video. It's just like it's something that nobody expected, but I want to give my opinion about it and what the future for this is going to be. If you read the title, it's obviously about the Jake Paul fight and everything that happened. But before we jump into it, please go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, because if I don't tell you, you guys don't do it. You just enjoy the video, which is completely fine. But we're trying to grow this channel, and that's the only way for you guys to do it and to the YouTube algorithm to explode this channel. So please go ahead and do that whenever you get the chance, or do it now. That way you don't forget. But jumping into the topic of this video, which is the Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson fight. I think first off, if you paid for the event, I'm sorry, it was a complete letdown for the overall thing. I legitimately just watched the Jake Paul fight, and then I saw highlights of the Mike Tyson and Nate and not Nate Robinson and Jones Jr. I think that's his full name. I might be getting it wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry. The Tyson fight, Mike Tyson. I saw highlights and I knew it wasn't worth it, so that I walked away when I started seeing what was going on. And also the fact that it was only 2 minutes per round and there was no gonna be a winner. Which, let me tell you, Las Vegas made a lot of money out of that because people bet on Mike Tyson winning or Jones winning when it actually there was never going to be a winner. So you just had to bet on a bet on a draw. I just didn't because I didn't feel like it, but you could have made a lot of money, or free money. That is, depends on how much the return was. But there was no winner. There was a tide, and it was a decent fight. And it was boring. Like it was just more of a spectacle, and the fact that it was Mike Tyson coming out of retirement for one last time. I'm assuming for an exhibition, but it wasn't the same. Now let's talk about the real topic of this video: is the Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson fight. I did see that one thoroughly, and from the beginning you could tell it wasn't a fair matchup. I, anyone that has been following boxing since the whole uh, Joe Weller KSI fight, you know this is not a simple sport to pick up. I've been getting more into it since then. I was a boxing and MMA fan since before those events, but that's really like what pulled a trigger in my interest into the sport. And since then, I've been analyzing more and more events, and I've been watching fights that have maybe undercards that you wouldn't think are high end. But I'm like, I find this interesting. I find techniques like the grappling versus jiu-jitsu versus everything versus orthodox versus non-orthodox or southpaw. And then watching like legends like Mayweather, Pacquiao back, it makes me really appreciate what they did. So I'm not saying I'm an expert whatsoever because I'm not. And if all that sounds gibberish to you, you'll see why. And if that sounded like I was disrespecting the sport, I'm not that well knowledgeable. I'm not a casual, but I'm above. Um, but I'm not an expert. Let's put it that way. But from the beginning of the fight, it was just obvious. Nate Robinson shoot a lot more than he could, or he bit a lot more than he could shoot. Because he went in just like hurricane, dude. Like it was obvious that there was no technique. He wasn't landing fast. He was grappling most of the time, and from the get go, we could tell that Jake Paul, his technique has got a lot better. I gotta give him that. His technique has gone a lot better, and you could tell it wasn't a fair fight. Jake Paul was just toying him around. He was keeping his distance, jabbing him along, and every time Nate Robinson would come in, it was just a hurricane, like I'm saying, and then he would grapple, and Jake was just taking advantage of that. Boom, 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 boom. On the first round, he did hit him for what it seemed like in the back of the head. There was a ref, so if the ref didn't call it, it was probably because it was borderline behind the ear, and that's why it looked like behind the head. But even Nate Robinson was going like this. But regardless, once you get hit, your plan goes out the window, and he from then on he survived the first round. And from me seeing, I was like, this is a matter of time. And second round, it just went ahead and proved it. Jake Paul, I think Jake got him with a jab, and then straight up, Nate Robinson went in and he just hit him straight in the forehead, which that's just a knockout. That's just GG with the amount of power that I know. For the videos that I seen and everything that Jake has, it was pretty obvious that he went out cold, and Nate Robinson went down and he became a meme. Like the internet is so fast. The Nate Robinson challenge is insane. Like the whole NBA was clowning the guy. Like it really. So I don't want to disrespect Nate because it takes a lot to step into the ring, but at the same time, bro, how do you get destroyed like that? Like it didn't seem like he trained. Maybe he didn't take it serious. I don't know. He has the physique and he has like the physical ability. We know this because of the NBA, but I don't think he really took it so seriously to the point that he improved it, because I don't know how much sparring he had. I don't know how much training boxing was he had, but like it really it was his first amateur fight, and the fact that it was without the helmets, that just make it even harder. Now on the Jake side, we can only expect him to talk the most trash out of there, because now he does have the three fights. He does have the 3-0 record, technically in boxing, and the 2-0 professional wise. The fight against Joe Weller in the back of his house, which technically doesn't count, but it's still a boxing fight nonetheless. The fight against Deji, and the first professional fight against Anison Gibb. None of them was really a threat. Deji was definitely out of shape. Anison Gibb was doing the whole crab thing, which that wasn't a representation of what Gibb is in the boxing scene. And just go back and watch videos by Gibb from his boxing fights. There was no reason he was ducking like that this whole time, and that's why he lost. um then of course we have the Joe Willer fight, which that one I'm gonna leave in the back. He just hit him straight in the kind of like in the rib cage. He lost air. He went down, and they weren't taking it that seriously. So I'm assuming they just call that's why they called it so fast. But now he has all these fights under his belt, and he just knocked out an ex NBA player. So he has all these fights. So he, in his mind, and logically, he does have the argument to say like, "Oh, I'm the best YouTuber out there, the best YouTube boxer out there," which is a complete lie. I still believe that KSI will rock him, but not as easily anymore. I feel like because of this gap that JJ or KSI has taken from the past year or so, focusing on music and YouTube, and due to the lockdown, I feel the 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 level has paired up a lot. But I don't think I still believe KSI will be the winner and is still the best YouTube boxer out there. But this is the thing. This is the landscape that I could see happening now. Of course, we do have that fight happening in the future. It's gonna have to happen at this point, because now we have Team A and Team B from the polls, and the Simon or KSI. That now that the hype is there, they're gonna start talking trash, and there's gonna be a contract. Obviously, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. Well, it's gonna happen sooner than later. I just don't know when, but it's gonna happen. What this did do, though, is now we're gonna see a bridge of maybe current athletes or future Hall of Famers or retired athletes from other sports are gonna try to do that swing into other sports and maybe participate more with YouTube. And this just gave more credibility to the YouTube scene, which is always great. At the end of the day, if everyone eats in the top floor, the people starting or the people all around get the crumbs, which it's an awful thing to think about, but at the same time, that's how it works. If an athlete like Connor, let's put it like this, MMA, like Conor McGregor gets a contract, maybe nobody else gets the same contract. Like they don't get the 160, 50, $150 million contract that Conor gets per fight. But now they can demand more. Just be like, hey, I'm pulling this views, like which it's a fraction of like this guy is pulling, like Connor's pulling, but that doesn't reflect in the pay. So I need my pay. So that's what I mean. Like in the overall scene, this is a good thing. This is a good thing for YouTube and overall creators. So respect where respect is due. Jake did not come out cold. It was a what's the word? It was he just proved that he was a real boxer versus someone that just started. Now we do need to see a two people with 2 years of experience, like JJ against Jake, and we'll see what happens then. But yeah, respect where respect is due. Jake won. And the whole event, there were some good fights. There was a lot of singing for no reason whatsoever in my mind. I heard some highlights of Snoop Dogg commentating stuff, and now I want him to commentate on more sports events. Maybe not something super serious like an NBA Finals or the Super Bowl or the World Cup, but I would love to see him in a random game like the Bulls against the Knicks or something like that. That would be super fun. Or the Lakers against Charlotte because he loves the Lakers. He's a Lakers fan, but I wouldn't want to see him against a big team. But yeah, that was cool too. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? And yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.